Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching The Breakfast Show. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about the success of diplomatic mediation efforts that Egypt and Qatar have undertaken in order to reach an extension of humanitarian truce for a new period of 2 days. And this reflects the strength and weight of the two countries' diplomacy. Extending the truce contributes to alleviating the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza and supports the entry of more humanitarian aid and the release of Palestinian detainees. To shed more light on this issue, I joined over the phone by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador.
Good morning, how are you?
So, sir, as I've just mentioned, that the truce is extended now for 2 days. How do you evaluate diplomatic efforts to reach this result?
I hope it will pave the way for full stoppage of the fighting,
Yes.
because this is unfair war between people who are unarmed totally and a big army of a country which does not respect the international law or the human treatment of the people in the war. So this is another small story of success of the Egyptian diplomacy, and I think and it's quite clear that Egypt has direct relation with all the parties on the area, whether on the international level. Sameh Shukri is presenting 1,400 million Muslims in the Security Council meeting. Our president receives the lady president of Mongolia, and different phone calls or talks with many counterparts of our president. This brought us to this situation of relatively some days of peace, and I hope this will encourage all parties to find that peace negotiation is much more suitable for everybody. This is a situation, and we can build on it. And many countries in the whole world are supporting us. And the proof of this was a General Assembly of the United Nations resolution with a majority of 129 votes supporting our call for stoppage this unfair war.
Yes. What after the truce, Mr. Ambassador, how do you see further political steps between Hamas and Israeli occupation?
We have a problem on both sides. On the Israeli side, we do not have a strong leadership or strong parties to accept the peace and to accept the peace requirement. On the other side, on the Palestinian side, we have a sort of separation between Hamas on one side and the PLO on the other side. And this is something which weakening the Palestinian position. But anyway, we are in good direct relations with both parties, and we brought this for almost 1 week now, and we hope that this will encourage both of them to stop this killing. And really, I cannot watch anymore those movies or pictures of what is happening in Gaza. Unfair, and it must be stopped by all means.
Yes. So, sir, as we can see that there is a clear division in the West between the public opinion and the state stances. How do you expect this to develop?
This is a positive development, and we succeeded, and our mass media succeeded to show what is really happening in Gaza. That moves many peace lovers in the whole world, even some parts of the Jewish community in the United States and in many countries like France or other countries in Europe, to ask stopping of this killing process. Even the close friends of Israel are telling us now that the two-state solution, as you rightly said, is the only possible solution. One-state solution is not even for the favor of a Jewish country which they want to establish. And one day you cannot imagine that in 20 years to come that Israel can continue with large hatred with all its neighbors by occupying the Syrian Golan, by treating the millions of Palestinians as a second-class citizen. This cannot continue. And the good thing that, as you rightly said, the communities in Europe, in America, discover that what we are saying, that we have to bring peace between the two parties. And I hope it's not an easy task. It's very difficult, but we are for it. And I hope, inshallah, that this will take place as soon as possible.
So, sir, with Lebanon, Yemen, and other Arab countries getting into the line of conflict, what are your expectations for a spillover of events?
This is what our president was saying, that we are afraid that the scale of the war will be enlarged by interference from Yemen, by interference from Iran even, and other countries. And this is not good for any party in the area. So it's another dimension of the war. And the Houthis in Yemen are threatening the free navigation in the Red Sea. And of course, this will affect the navigation between the Red Sea and the Mediterranean and even the Suez Canal. We don't need this at all, and we hope to contain it as soon as possible.
Sir, from an economic point of view, how can the Israelis withstand the continued conflict? How long would the West be able and willing to pay for the Israeli war on Gaza and Israeli expenses?
The war is very expensive for all parties.
Yes.
Even us, when we are not engaged in the war,
yes.
But it affects our tourism, it affects our foreign trade and our navigation. But Israel is the spoiled child of the United States and the West. I want to remind our audience that when Blinken went to Tel Aviv, he went there with a suitcase full of $14 billion immediate aid from the United States, which is not in a good position to give any country such a sum of money. The United States government was on the point to declare bankruptcy few days ago. And people in the United States start to say that the help United States is giving to Israel is affecting their support to the war in Ukraine. So really a very strange position. But still the West do not hide that they are supported by all means the Israeli stand in this war.
So, sir, to what extent the Israeli economy itself is impacted by this war? And we can see that many Israelis are fleeing the country now. So, the impact of war on Israel itself, can you elaborate on it?
Yes, the economic impact is very bad, and Israel is not in its best position or condition. And now we have the negative migration. People who went to Israel to live there started to leave it, going back to their own countries. And the economists the magazine Economist, realized that what Israel is building of settlements, it is ghost cities. They don't have citizens to fill in those settlements. So Israel is not affected only financially, but it is affected for its future. There will be no citizen living in those places where Israeli army is occupying.
So, sir, also many Western officials raise the phrase of the right of Israel to exist, the only entity to be questioned over a right to exist. What's your comment on the use of this phrase?
Yes, we have the international law and we have the principle of democracy and human rights, but it is not well used. You are using it for evil goals here. If we say that the right of self-defense, yes, it is the right of the Palestinians to self-defense themselves against the invasion of the occupation, not the right of the occupation to invade or to destroy. So it is a double standard policy, and we live with it for some time, and we have to face it with all our mass media by attacking everywhere and to uncover that they are playing with those principles. They are not really honest with raising those principles.
Yes, sir, also the Israelis banned the celebrations for the release of Palestinian detainees and journalists. They were always also prevented from taking any photos. How do you explain this?
This is the result of what we are saying, what we are seeing.
Yes.
And this is a sort of a conflict between two people. And I am afraid that it will plant more and more hatred. This is not good for anybody.
Yes.
And we are trying to convince Israelis by all means, and we have very good means of contacts with Israel, to tell them this is not good for your health, this is not good for your future.
Yes. Finally, I'd like to thank you, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And the viewers, a short break, and we'll be back with our second segment for today, so stay tuned.